Hello, everybody. Misfit Arst, again, with a new kind of video. We're going to be doing... I did not get to finish an intro. You fool.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to try something new. Because as Misfit Arst, we are professionals. We are not masters. Very few people are masters of a craft, I would say. And so, if you're not a master, what does that make you? You're a student.
Paid student.
A what?
We're professionals. Does that make us paid students?
Sure. Sure. You could also just say professional student. Something about paid student sounds really demeaning, is all. So yeah, we're in. How does a student learn aside from, learning face to face with, in a class of sorts? They get books and they look at books and study books, and so we have amassed a bit of a collection of different books, art books from different shows, comics, productions, how to draw guides. And some of our favorites are normally art books of concept art or just people's personal work. This one is a collection of Tim Burton drawings. It was gifted to us by our friend and colleague, Turnip. And we're just going to go through it. Maybe we'll draw something if we get some inspiration. But I kind of just want to take a look at some of these books and talk about them. Forward by Tim Burton, most of what appears in this book was never intended to be seen by anyone. Some of it was for specific projects, some of it was just for me. Over the years, friends and collaborators suggested that maybe I should do a book, and I did absolutely nothing about it. It wasn't until Derek Frey, Lee Gallo, and Holly Kempt, apologies if I mispronounced any names, became involved that this book became a reality. The former is my longtime assistant. The latter two were creators of Sweeney Todd. Of a Sweeney Todd film book. Ah, there we go. They sorted through 40 years of stuff. Notebooks, scraps of paper, napkins, etc. to shape what lies between these covers. For whatever it's worth, I hope you like it. And honestly, these kind of books are some of my favorites because obviously we can see Tim Burton's finished work. We can see his style on display in films like Sweeney Todd, Nightmare Before Christmas, all of this.
Yeah.
We can
Frank and Weenie.
You can see the finished stuff, and you can see his art prints in museums and everything.
But you will never see
His process,
the process, or
and
the things,
which is
anybody went through.
Yeah, which isn't quite the same as nowadays because we have the internet. Most artists have a social media of some kind, but there's just a lot to have it with you and easily accessible. If you are an artist, if you want to draw inspiration from it, it's just like, that process is always going to be valuable. I also do like, this is very, I don't know how young people that watch us are, or how much us older people remember. DVDs used to have really fun interactive menus and stuff.
Oh,
and I feel like this is that in book form. This very fun contents page.
Really aging ourselves with the DVD interactive menus.
Listen, those are fun.
Those were the days.
Let's see here. We have a Boy from the Burbank Lagoon. And that's one thing I like. I like, obviously, Tim Burton is very fan of classical monsters and horror. But he also makes it all very urban and, kind of modern. So I love the stuff like this. We're not going to read everything, because if you want to read it all, you should just get the book yourself. But we'll look through it. We have a history, probably some autobiography of his life, which actually looks like it was scanned in from a notebook, maybe, or no? I think it's just a vibe they tried to put in there. I don't know. Again, but I love that look. This is also a very thick and sturdy book. I don't know if you can really tell how thick the covers are, but this feels protected, and it is weighty.
Very weighty.
But yeah, it looks like we have a good chunk of things that inspired the man. But that is the thing about him. He's always made very humanized monsters.
Something I just love about his work is just the shape language.
Yeah.
Of all these characters. It's the same that it's like recognizable, but it's not predictable. I don't know if...
I feel like it's less of his. I mean, he is good at shape language, but it's more about he's very expressionistic. Like a dog, no dog's head looks like that. Obviously, that's not the shape you think of when you think of a dog head. You get kind of into like the triangle of like the cranium where the eyes sit, and then getting into like the snout.
But
But
it's a dog.
but it
It is dog shape.
yeah, it's basic dog shape kind of. Again, if you look at expression films, I feel like actually this. So I'll come back a little bit. Like that stairway right there is a great example of it. Again, it's not like if you look at the stairs are uneven. No stairway exists like that. If any stairway exists like that, a carpenter needs to be fired. The angles aren't always realistic or something you can find that's like actually possible.
But by God, the emotion of dread
Exactly.
that you can see.
It forms an emotion, normally one that feels like a child going through some kind of nightmare or surreal experience. I feel like that's the other thing. He's a very surrealist artist. He's not concerned with how anything actually exists. He's clearly studied it and he knows what he needs to know. I mean, again, the way the classic Jack Skellington hill.
Yeah, can we just take a look at the unhinged jaw of Jack Skellington? I love the just the facial studies of that. Have we actually ever seen that in movie, or was that just like
Not like that for sure. That's a
Oh
more
my gosh.
evil and mean Jack that I think he was ever actually.
and right next to it is just Jack just
Yeah,
having
and
an existential crisis.
There's existential crisis Jack. There's just chill Jack.
Very frumpy Jack on the top corner.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's a lot of fun. Ooh, these are some fun ones.
Batman.
It's very the way he draws. I feel like is what I want to emulate if I ever like as a child. Like that's.
Like that's all like pastel work, yeah.
I believe so. He does. I know he likes watercolors in a lot of things. I like the penguin there. I mean, again, Catwoman here is accentuated very classically as cartoonists would the hourglass figure, but I mean, look at the penguin. Like he doesn't even like these are not drawn in a way that like is just we're gonna accentuate.
Wait. Yeah, because that penguin there, I mean,
It does look
Danny
very.
DeVito, so
It does look very much
let's see
like how it turned out.
Yeah.
Tim is an artist of great talent and individual style. His performance in Hoffa underlines his talents as a consummate actor. I'm so happy that he chose to become a filmmaker and not just another great painter who would only get the recognition. Danny DeVito, Penguin. That's another fun thing about art books like this is when they take some input from people that knew the artist or worked with them. That's a really fun thing about one of the books we'll go over. It's not a drawing book necessarily, but we have was it Nightmares and Monsters? The Phil Tippett art book that they made after he made Mad God. This is very childish and fun. And I'm not saying that as a dig.
This is just
like Tim Burton
this is
someone that's comfortable.
This is a fever dream of the best kind, and then it becomes a fever nightmare.
Yeah, I think some of this was stuff that. Oh, this folds out. Oh my gosh.
Oh
snap! I wasn't ready for that. Oh, that's so much fun. I wasn't ready. It can fold the other way too.
Oh.
See, this is why when you get art books, don't just put them on your shelf. Open them up because stuff like this exists for you. Oh, that's a beautiful spread.
Wow.
That is so much fun.
I'm pretty sure there's like a few more spreads in this book too.
I would hope they don't just do that one time.
Of course not.
That would be very frustrating. No, I love that he's someone that seems to go back to things he's already done, but not just to redo it, but to learn and improve it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so much fun. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick these up. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. We didn't come into this with a whole lot of plan, necessarily. We want to talk about artists. I've never seen this one. I think it's called When Mars Attacks.
When Mars Attacks, yeah.
I've never actually seen it. I've seen, some stills and some gifs of the Martians, and it is horrific. so much fun though.
Wow.
Look at him go.
The simplicity of it.
Yeah. Like, an idea is getting out there, and that's a very big spread.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no.
Looks like it's just a character lineup there. Oh, well,
That is something.
that's a grand time.
Oh, Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a...
I don't think I've actually watched Frankenweenie.
You haven't?
No, I haven't. It's not like
No,
it's not like I've avoided it or anything. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
It's a pretty good movie.
I watched the original short film before he made the animated movie.
I did too, because in my AP English class in high school, we had to read Frankenstein as part of our summer reading, and then it led into a discussion on adaptations.
And
so we
instead
just
of talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or any of the actual movies.
No, we talked about Frankenstein, and we did talk about like the actual movie, like the first one with Boris Karloff, and then we just watched Frankenweenie because for our talk about adaptations. AP English was a fun time in high school, let me tell ya.
Let's see here. So this is the what is it section. And so far,
the
it does
weird
not disappoint.
nonsense.
I like that. I like these very darkened out shadow things.
Very, very sinister.
Yeah.
I like the 6 a.m. kind of vibe of just whatever monster comes to mind, it's on paper.
I like this one. I like the little scream. Yeah, no, I mean, and he uses, like, you're saying shapely. He uses a lot of big round shapes or, like, very thin dudes. Again, like, this isn't recognizable to, like, much of anything else. But it feels like, yeah, what a kid thinks is under their bed. The line work is not clean. It's just, he has, I would call it confident, because he's not, like, scratching. Like, you can see here, this is, like, probably one long stroke. It's
small but tight.
Yeah. It's
line
smooth
work.
but scratchy. Like, he gives you a lot with the lines. There's a lot of texture in that little scratchy thing. It feels like I could grab, I feel like if I grab this, it'd be squishy. If I pet that, it'd be scratchy. Very tactile. I feel like he's an artist that sketches great, and it almost feels like that's all he wants to do. He just wants to sketch and get ideas on paper. That's so much fun though. Like, I mean, look, I'm pretty sure I drew this kind of thing when I was young. It's the epitome of my kid could draw this, but there's something about that's that one step past like child drawing. It's what a child wants to have realized almost.
It's the unhinged 6 a.m. fever dream kind of vibe.
You said that already.
I know, but it bears repeating. I just love this kind of stuff,
I like this. I do not know what this is. What is it? Again, that's the section we're in.
What is this?
Because that's just a bunch of babies jumping out of a monster.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe we have to put a trigger warning on it. I don't know. Because again, that's the thing. Like, none of this feels like stuff I wouldn't show our nephew, for instance. I'm not. Maybe I should be. Maybe that's just me being messed up. But like, because like some of this is scary. I could see this giving him a little nightmare too. But it's also just. It's the kind of nightmares he needs to have almost. Oh! Big spread coming. Big spread. Okay.
Oh dear.
Okay.
The other side.
Yeah, just the other side. I want to make sure that we didn't miss something on one side.
Look at that parade of monstrosity.
Yeah, I mean,
they're a bunch of little guys, big guys.
Just a bunch of guys.
They're just a bunch of guys.
I'm happy we're doing this though, and I hope that this does, get someone else wanting to check them out or dig through their own collection. Because, obviously this is just a lot of fun. It's just, fun. That's, I feel like that really is. If you were to boil down what I think he tries to get across when he draws these things is spooky and fun.
That's
I don't know if he even really is trying to scare anyone when he does these things. It feels like he's just throwing out a weird idea that he thinks will be fun. Look,
oh my God, chairs!
That's just chairs.
It's just chairs.
That is so fun. But again, I totally get what he's going for. This is the feeling of when you. One, these are obviously monsters. That's. It's like when you say, "Oh, what would a car look like if it had a face?" That's what would a chair look like if it had a face. But there's also this feeling of when you're really young and you're trying to get into a chair, and any chair that's not squat to the ground feels like you have to jump up onto it.
Yeah. Or on the opposite sense, being old and then just squatting down into a child-sized chair.
Oh, that was a perfect thing to flip through.
Oh.
Oh man, I love it. That's so much fun.
Gosh.
But yeah, for now, we'll call it there. This has been our first art book club. Again, this is the Tim Burton art book collection. It does not have a cover page. One thing I did kind of not mention though is that it's kind of cool how the cover has this little cellophane thing to it with the silhouette cut out, because again, that's a very Tim Burton expressionist thing that he does, and it just adds that really cool depth to a book, so it looks very nice propped up on your shelf like that. The spine of the book, which will have the proper title, The Art of Tim Burton, by Leah Gallo and Holly C. Kempf. Yeah, and this is all beautiful. This is actually all embossed is when it comes up. Inlaid is when it's pushed in.
I do not know
but it's this cool carved in lettering. So it all, like I said, it all feels cool to hold. It looks great on a shelf. But yeah, I highly suggest getting it. I don't think it's a cheap book. Real quick, we can check. Yes, standard edition of this book on Amazon, which, go to a Barnes & Nobles, go to a half-price book, some kind of a local bookstore. Maybe you'll be able to find this cheaper. But the first result on Amazon for a standard edition is $157. Thank you very much, Tramp, for this this gift. There are other Tim Burton books, though, you can get your hands on. I'm already finding The World of Tim Burton, English and Italian edition. I'm not sure what that will be like. Napkin art of Tim Burton, which he referenced here. He draws on napkins a lot. That throwaway stuff, so maybe that's a quarter of what's in this book. There's a lot of them, and a lot of the movies or things he's worked on will have individual books. I'm sure there's Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas movie poster. I'm sure there's an art book for The Nightmare Before Christmas. There's multiple coloring books. So please, if you like his work and that's a vibe that you want to study and emulate, grab the book, have it, flip through it, look at what you want to take from it. Don't just try to draw like Tim Burton. Pick out the things you like of this and draw that. Not just like Tim Burton, but draw specific aspects of Tim Burton. I think that's how you will. Because, this guy has his own style. I'm sure there was a point in his career where he said, I want to draw like this person or that person or that. But he got to a very him place. And if you want to be like Tim Burton, you really have to have your own style. So don't just draw like him exactly, but learn what you think is important. But with that, yeah, woo. Hope you all have a nice time. Comment if there's other art books you'd like that for us to cover. Like I said, we have. Maybe we'll post in the. We're thinking about doing a Rob Zombie. It's not a Rob Zombie art book. There's an artist that does a lot of his stuff, so we're looking at that one. We have the Castlevania art book.
We got Rick and Morty.
We have the Rick and Morty art book. So choose between those three, or again, if there's a book that you just know of, or an artist that you want us to cover, maybe they have an art book for us to grab. Let us know, and maybe we can make it a tax return, and we can buy it, show it to you, and then you can choose if you want it yourself.
Yeah.
But till then, bye.